Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to record as I made some samples of bows for my bow shop. Well, I sell bows and children's clothing. I wanted to see how they came out with a sublimation printer because if you don't know, a lot of the fabric shops that you order yards of custom fabric from, they use just a very large scale sublimation printer and heat press. So since I have a new sublimation printer, I wanted to see if I could just do the samples myself. This is a really good idea if you don't sell a lot, if you're a really small shop like I am, or if you wanted to get an idea of what prints are going to be really popular so that you're not wasting money on fabric. So this was the first sample that I ever made, and it's a print that I made myself, and it came out really well. I used the 8.5 by 11 paper, so that's why the back of it doesn't have a print on it, but this was just a sample just so I could see how this turned out. It's another good way to see just how prints are going to turn out on fabric. So I do make some of my own patterns, so it's nice to be able to see how something's going to turn out before I order a yard of it, because if I end up not liking it, then I don't have to, you know, waste all that money. So this was the first one that I ever did, and I'll go through it in the video. All I did was I used the 11 by 17 paper. I cut it in half so that I could do my strips for the bows. I usually cut my bow strips. I usually cut my strips 5 by 17 or 18, depending on the material. This is the material that I used. It's called, you'll find it a bunch of different names for it. A lot of people call it scuba. If you're looking for it, you can also find it under neoprene and techno or super techno if it's really thick. The one that I'm using is like a medium thickness. This one is on what they would call super techno, which is a lot thicker. This material sublimates very well. It's 100% or 95 to 100% polyester, so it sublimates very, very well. And I'll link where I got this down below. It's just a plain white to sublimate on. And like I said, I'll go through everything in my video. In the video, I'm using my new A to Z heat press, which I will show you guys. It is a swing away, so it's really nice. The nice thing about it is that I can lay my material on the heat press without having to worry about the upper plate burning my hands while I'm trying to, you know, arrange everything. So this is my favorite part about it, is that it swings. But I will do a video exclusively on this heat press so that I can kind of give you guys an overview about it. Oh, I'm just going to show you guys the process that I went through to get these bow samples, and then I'll show you how they turned out. Okay, so I have my strips of sublimation paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and sublimate onto my strips of fabric. The sublimation paper that I used is A sub 11 by 17, and I'm just showing you guys how the first bow turned out that I did off camera. So I actually recommend that you guys use heat tape. I didn't use heat tape for all except one because I couldn't remember where I put it. For the last strip, I actually figured out where I put the heat tape, and I did use it. The reason you want to use the heat tape is so that you don't have ghosting. So since I am not using heat tape for the first four bows, you see me just carefully trying to place the sublimation paper and the cover sheets so that I do not have any ghosting in my patterns. So I felt like there was going to be a little ghosting here, so that's why I didn't fully heat press the strip yet. I took it off before I had completely clamped it down. So I'm just kind of rearranging it, and then I'm going to slowly clamp it back down so that there's no ghosting. As you can see, this one got a little messed up on the edges. It didn't fully sublimate on the edges all the way. I didn't have the fabric all the way on the heat press, so you can kind of see it's messed up. But like I said, these are just samples, and also once I tie the bow, you're not going to be able to see where I messed up, so it's still usable. If you notice, I'm putting my strips on the heat press diagonally, and that's because I have a 15 by 15 and my strips are cut 17 inches, and I want to sublimate at least 16 inches of the strip. And so if I put it diagonally, I actually get more coverage than if I were to just put it up and down on the heat press. So that's why I have it diagonally, and that's why you see me kind of fidgeting and rearranging it. It's so that I can get the most coverage that I can on my heat press. You could also, if you prefer, you could also just heat press it in parts, but I just wanted to do one single press, so that's why I put it on the heat press diagonally the way that I'm doing it. And this is the strip that I did with the heat tape. It was so much easier. I didn't have to worry about any ghosting. It didn't move at all. So hands down, I definitely recommend that you use the heat tape. The rest of the bows turned out. So I've already tied them. If you want to know how to tie a bow, I do have a video on how to get these tied. So you can, I'll link that down below and you can check that out if you do not know how to do these yourself already. But I'll just show you. Lighting's pretty bad, I'm sorry. So it doesn't get the whole strip like I need, so there's just a little line left over, like a little selvage left, but you can cut that off. I didn't, just in case I wanted to retie it, but you can actually cut that off and then you would just have the full print on the back. But this is how it turned out. I'll show on this one. You can see the glitter. And these are all prints that I made myself, or that I designed myself. Kisses. The only thing about this one is that you can't really see, I have polka dots in here and you can't really see it, so I'm gonna have to play around with the coloring on this so you can see a little better. And then this actually was not a print that I designed. This is Pikachu. You can see how cute. And this one I would say sublimated the best. This is the best. This picture was the best quality. So that's how everything turned out. So like I said, this is good if you want to do pre-sales so that you don't, so that you can get an idea of how many people are gonna want these bows from you so that you're not wasting money on fabric. I have so much leftover fabric from things that didn't sell as well as I thought they would. So this is a great way for me to kind of test and see how many people are gonna buy, and if it's something that's doing really well, I can go ahead and go to a printer who can, you know, print yards of fabric and order a yard or so, instead of doing this myself. So this is a lot of work. I wouldn't do this if you were doing, if you're like selling tons of bows per week, this probably isn't the best method for you. But if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money on fabric, this is probably the best method for you, and this is probably the way to go. If you have any questions, make sure you ask them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer anything, help you guys out any way I can. If you guys have another idea for a video, if you guys need something more in-depth, please let me know in the comments below. If you guys are interested in Cricut crafts, sublimation, sewing, I haven't done any sewing videos, but I will. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification for every time I do a new video. I'm trying to do at least one per week for you guys. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.